And everyone, welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's sort of embedded in me now that I have to say that. So I'm hoping to be going live with Mr. Rektangular, the man infamous for all of the Marvel Legend news that you hear about throughout the year. But we're trying something new. We're not too sure if it's going to work. So bear with us if we go for any technical difficulties. But we're going to try and do this. So let's try that again. So Todd, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Pal. So Todd, say hello to the world. This is Mr. Rektangular.
How's it going, people?
Pal. So again, we might not even be live. We don't even know. You keep an eye. You got your computer screen open?
Yeah, it looks like we're live. There's a bit of a delay, but that's typical.
Okay, cool. But can people hear us? Yeah, can people? If you can hear us, if you can hear both of us, please let me know in the little chat. So then we can just get on with things, because I'm a little bit worried my tech is going to go wrong on this end, because I'm looking at about 3 screens in front of me. I've got an iPad open and everything. So we shall see. But I have literally a rundown in front of me, and I just thought the best way to do this is sort of just go down the list, and we just sort of just have a chat about what's what.
Okay, sounds good.
So my first question to you actually is, how many times have you been Comic-Con?
San Diego 0.
Oh wow, I thought you'd been before.
No,
So have you been to
no.
New York and stuff like that? I swear I've seen you
I,
about.
yeah, I've been to New York Comic Con. I got to hang out with Boog over there. Definitely go subscribe to Boog ACBA's YouTube channel. And then I've been to LA Comic Con, and I've been to San Jose Comic Con, which is pretty new. It's only like in its second or third year now.
Oh nice. So you've been to more than me. I think I've went to the Birmingham one because it's quite close to me, and there's one in London, but it's only sort of started to create a bit of buzz. I think actually Hasbro announced the Beast figure last year at the London Comic Con. So I might make an effort to go down this year. But San Diego is the one. That's the one that I want to go to. I always get envious and jealous when I see everyone out there, and I live vicariously through them on my Instagram feed.
Yeah, I don't know. Folks in the UK may not know this, but it is next to impossible to get a ticket for SDCC unless you have connections, or you're extremely lucky, or you've been the year before. Because if you go the year before, then you kind of get like a front door in line to get to the lottery to get a ticket.
I thought it was like you just sign up online, and the first ones that sign up get a notification or something simple like that. Because everyone on my sort of Instagram feed seemed to go without any issues. Do you know? I thought it was relatively easy, especially if you press. Is it a different ball game for press?
That I would assume, yeah, it's probably a little easier. I don't know. It sounds like Boog didn't have too many issues this year, but yeah, there's still a bunch of hoops you got to jump through. And if you're a presenter, obviously you can get a badge as well. So, and if you're an exhibitor, if you're there with a company who's selling stuff, it's easier that way. So I have friends who were exhibitors who were able to get in with not too many issues. But for just the general Joe off the street, if you've never been, if you don't have a ticket from the year before, it's very difficult to get in, and then accommodations are extremely expensive. So
Can you buy tickets on the second-hand market? Do you know, like, do people put their tickets up on eBay and stuff like that?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's not cheap, because I mean, just the tickets alone are expensive. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get robbed.
I keep joking to people that if I stop spending all my money on toys, I might be able to afford to go one year. But if Hasbro keep pumping out figures the rate they're doing, I've got no chance.
Yeah, I'll make it eventually. My sister lives in the suburbs north of San Diego, so I at least have a free place to stay. But I just moved this year, and I'm trying to save money. So and we're getting drowned in Marvel Legends releases right now. So it's like I have zero spare cash.
I do think they've finished announcing for the year though. I don't think they're going to surprise us with anything else. I think we know everything that's coming out for the rest of the year. Do you think that's the case, or do you reckon they're going to sneak in a few extras towards Christmas?
No, I don't think anything that's going to be released this year hasn't already been announced. That there's always something that they pull out of the bag at the last minute, which might happen. Like have they announced with the Marvel subscription
Oh,
exclusiveness for this
like
year?
like last year was the Venom Punisher.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I've not seen anything online, not at all.
Yeah. So
The
that
best
still might be that still might be coming. I haven't heard anything.
the best one of them I've ever seen is the Rescue. Like the others just seem like crappy reprints. Like there was a what was it? Tony Stark with just a brown suit, which wasn't that exciting. Um, but no, they're usually quite lackluster figures. Those ones.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's the best thing that they can do is make it something that only a hardcore collector would want. If you're gonna don't introduce like a brand new figure that we've never had before, or because most people are not going to sign up for that. You know what I mean?
Is
It's going to be.
is it just Is it just a comic book subscription, or is it actual physical comics, or is it just an online thing?
I don't think it's physical. I think it's just the digital subscription,
Oh,
but
okay.
I could be wrong.
I don't even know if they do it in the UK. To be fair, I've never looked into it. I had Marvel Unlimited for a little bit of time when I was doing some reading, but I think I got rid of it for something else. Shout out to Do Dog Reviews throwing in a super chat, much appreciated, my friend. He says he can hear us both loud and clear, so I'm very happy about that, as I've been fiddling behind the scenes for a little bit. Right, so shall we just get into it, shall we? Because I've got a big list in front of me. I've literally, I've got it on a clipboard. You can see me, right? So I've literally printed it off on a clipboard, so I ain't got to worry about finding it on my computer. So shall we get into it? You ready?
Yeah, I would start off with the Avengers wave because that's the thing I care the least about.
Ah, okay. So I'm a massive MCU fan, so that hurts my feelings a little bit, but we can do that. We can do that. Right, okay, so let
Well,
me see if I can switch the screen up and see if this works for the people. Right, so now I'm just hoping that you can see on the screen the brand new Wave 3 for Marvel Avengers Endgame on the screen, and you can still hear us both. I hope that's the case. Um, you let me
yeah,
know.
it's coming up.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I think I've got actually these separated as well. So let's see if I flick through these, they change. Cool. So the first one on the screen should be probably a little bit delayed for you, but it should be probably my favorite in this wave is Valkyrie. I actually really like this Valkyrie. This is the version of Valkyrie I wanted originally from the Ragnarok wave. I think the face on this looks 10 times better. Actually looks like Tessa Thompson this time around. And this is her more famous outfit, if we say. I know we've only seen it a little bit, but if you think Valkyrie, this is the outfit you're thinking of. You're a cosmic guy. Are you not a fan of this?
Um, no, I mean I'm into the classic looks. So
You prefer the blonde, tall Valkyrie. I don't even know if I have that figure anymore, to be fair.
yeah, exactly. I still have that crappy classic Hasbro one that's got like single jointed knees, and it's a disaster. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when we hopefully when they this new Thor movie they just announced. Hopefully we'll get a
Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, we can talk about that at the end. To be fair, and what's to
yeah.
come maybe. But yeah, okay. So moving on to the next one. I'm not too sure what order this is in, but we shall find out. Okay, so the next one on the screen should be Hamdao. So this is obviously Idris Alba. He's a UK guy, so obviously I'm liking this. What do you think of Hamdao in this outfit? I know a lot of people wanted the sort of gold armor version.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's been in a lot more movies with his armor, so this is kind of it's pretty much just rounding out the end game. Or actually, it wasn't even in Endgame, just in Infinity War. So
Yeah, I
they
think
didn't. they didn't snap him back. I don't remember seeing him at the
Nah,
in
they
Endgame.
didn't snap anyone back who actually died. So the Loki from that timeline's gone, Hamdall's
Yeah.
gone, Black Widow's gone. Spoiler alerts, by the way, anyone if you haven't watched Endgame. But if you haven't watched Endgame, you're watching this video. You clicked the wrong channel, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said in the panel that this is Hamdall from Ragnarok, but obviously that cape's removable, and then it's more of the look from the start of Infinity War. But let's be honest, he's just lying on the floor in Infinity War. You don't really see much. So, but yes, that's Hamdall. Okay, so moving on. The next one is Iron Man Mark 85. So I think this is a really good Iron Man. It looks like a whole new mold to me. And I like the fact it comes with the gauntlet, even though it doesn't fit on Iron Man. But to be fair to Hasbro, they did say in the panel while they were making these, they didn't even know Iron Man wore the gauntlet. So hopefully they remember that and bring out something in the future. But for now, this looks good. We needed the Mark 85.
What's funny is that in the panel, in the Hasbro panel, Dwight goes, he starts off by saying about how they wanted to go back and fix all these costumes that they got wrong, and then he didn't know, about like which character was going to have the gauntlet and that kind of stuff. And then they made the Hulk Build-A-Figure, which is in the wrong costume.
Yes.
And then they made him wear the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes, that's very frustrating. Again, to be fair to Hasbro, I do think they work with what they've got, and then they look like idiots when the film comes out. But I am, as you can see, I don't know if I switched the camera. I've got like a Hall of Armor shelf up there, and obviously I need a Mark 85 for the collection. But yeah, I'm liking that, and
it looks nice.
It's the unmasked Tony Stark head. I was hoping for one of them. I was hoping at least to have sort of recreate that Endgame scene where he's on his knees with the gauntlet, unmasked head. But maybe that will come down the line. But moving on.
Well, how many unmasked heads do you have already? Come on, Dan.
What? Just one good one. The one that come in the Marvel Studios 2-pack with Mark 1. That's the only good unmasked Marvel Legends head we have for Robert Downey as Tony Stark. The rest just average bloke, just any bloke with a goatee, where the Marvel Studios release actually sort of, from a distance, maybe looks like Robert Downey Jr. But moving on to this next one, is the repaint that sort of people are probably moaning about, but let's be honest, you can't please everyone. They're moaning that their last War Machine wasn't accurate, and now they released the more accurate one, and they're moaning it's a reissue. So the community just can't be pleased, is the moral of this story. But I quite like it.
Well, in their defense, I mean, they did go back and retool that sculpt so that
exactly.
you're getting different boots, different legs. And he's got I think those are new. Aren't those new rocket packs on the legs?
Yeah, they said they retooled the top part of the armor, and then they changed the feet area, and then there's more holes for plugging your cannons and stuff in. But as I was saying, the community, as I said, they're never happy. They're moaning about reissues or characters not being accurate. And the one time Hasbro try and give you a very quick turnaround on a more accurate version, people just moan it's the same. It's stupid. But I'm glad they did this. This is the more accurate version for his costume in Endgame. I don't understand where he got it from, if you remember that scene, or why it's in these colours, but it looks pretty good, to be fair, and I'm happy to have an accurate armour for the shelf.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember him being painted this way in the end of Endgame, but
it's literally just the final battle, just that final battle when he turns up with a rocket on his shoulder. He's wearing the Iron Patriot armor for no reason. But this next one is a reissue, and but apparently it's a more translucent version, and it is, of course, Vision. So I think people are happy about this because that Vision 2-pack with Scarlet Witch is going up very high on the aftermarket, which is frustrating because I had about 3 of them when it first came out, and I sold them all really cheap. So I'm a nice guy like that. I could have made a fortune, but never mind.
Yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Do you have this Vision? Do you have? I know you're not a fan of the MCU figures, but this Vision's could be sneaked into your comic collection if he's at the back flying or something like that.
No. Not for me. But I have. I am a sucker for Ant-Man, so I have I have all those movie figures. Trying to think of what else. I have a few maybe here or there, but yeah, it's totally not appealing for me. And I'm a big fan of Vision in the comics, but I don't like I don't even like the modern version of Vision so much. Like the one that came in that 3-pack, that comic version. I don't even think I
Well,
have that
the
one.
best Marvel Legends version, I think, is the more recent Vintage Wave Vision.
Def, yeah,
That's probably the best comic Vision we have.
yeah, definitely. I've got multiples of that.
Yeah, that looks good. Right, the next one. This one is very frustrating. I think this is the one people moaned about a lot. And you know me, I try and be that YouTuber that's positive. I'm a grown man buying toys for God's sake. What's the point of moaning about them? But this one, even I'm moaning about a little bit. It is Captain America from the first Avenger. That was originally, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll know this, but it was a Walmart exclusive figure back in 2012.
Correct. That
Yes.
is correct.
I'm going to switch the camera back, right, because I've actually got this one in hand right now. So the chat can see for themselves. I've got sent this super early version from Hasbro. Basically, we're getting this figure again, but with this head. So the head that comes on the Quantum Realm Captain America seems to be the head on this old Captain America. So it's an amalgamation of both these two. Am I right in saying that, or it looks that way from the pictures?
Yeah.
So
I don't think they changed the sculpt at all.
no, those legs are still those crappy. Look! You can't even
Yep.
bend his leg. Oh, it's very frustrating. It's a shame because I don't hate the design because obviously it's the first time he was in the Avengers film, so it's an iconic look. But yeah, it needs retooling. Yeah, but
In 2019, it's inexcusable for Hasbro to be releasing figures with ball jointed hips.
yeah, that again for me again that's Hasbro sticking out a third Avengers wave because it's again you can't blame them. It's one of the most successful films of all time, and they're trying to save some money, so that's where we got Cap, and that's probably why we got Vision again. But yeah, moving on. And the builder figure, of course, is Thor. Not the Thor personally I would have chose. I would have preferred that final battle Thor where he's in his armor, he's got his sort of Viking beard, and he's holding both hammers. That would have been my ideal Thor. But this one's funny. It's unique, I suppose. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think Hasbro had the final battle images because obviously then they probably wouldn't have made that Hulk with the shirtless Hulk.
Yes.
So it makes sense that they went with this one and not the final battle Thor. Um, I still think he should be fatter, but that's just me.
Yeah, they said, didn't they, that they originally made him and he wasn't fat, and Hasbro or someone from the marketing team actually told Hasbro, no, make him fatter. So apparently underneath his jumper, there's probably going to be a bit of a gap when you're articulating him because they've pushed out the gut a little bit. But yeah, again, I'm buying all the MCU figures, so I'm going to have it regardless. But I would have preferred the other four. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
So that's the wave.
I am empathetic with those who said that Fat Thor should have been a regular figure in the wave, and then they should have done like a Chitauri monster or something as the BAF.
Yeah, that would have been good. I would have preferred like just a generic sort of army builder, bad guy soldier, whether it was one of the Chitauri from the first film or one of the sort of what are the little monsters called that attack in Infinity War?
I know it, but it's escaping me.
It's on the tip of my tongue as well. But something like that would have been good just to sort of spread around the display. But nevertheless, that is your Avengers Wave 3 wave. So let's jump straight into the comics because if we keep going at this pace, we're going to be here all night. So the first one is they released this not at the panel. This is the first sort of release they released. Do you know what I mean? The Deadpool 2-pack, which is sort of Miami Vice inspired. Now I have no idea if Deadpool or Hitmonkey even wore these white suits in the comics. I have no idea if it actually is an accurate reference or just a really easy 2-pack with reissues for Hasbro to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they did maybe appear in maybe one issue with white suits, but I don't know. I'm probably not gonna get it. I do like Deadpool, but I'm not like a Deadpool completist. So I'm glad people are able to get Hitmonkey. That wave was extremely hard to get. That was I believe a previews exclusive wave. Um, and I don't even have Hitmonkey.
I don't have him either. He was when Hasbro started to take Marvel Legends seriously again. I think in those epic hero waves. Um,
I
so
think I have the arms.
oh,
That's all I
nice.
have.
So you can switch out. You can have black arms if you prefer a black arm suit. If you prefer. But
Yeah.
I'll be buying it regardless. I get everything, and Deadpool's Deadpool. He's a fun figure to have, and maybe you could use that white suit for something. Mr. Negative, a bit of repainting or something like that would be fun. But yeah,
If it comes out on clearance, then I'll probably try to get one. I unfortunately invested. I bought a couple of those Fortnite figures, which are extremely skinny. They're a little bit on the short side, but I was gonna fudge those for kit bashing.
yes, there's loads. That's what's so good now about the sort of toy industry, all trying to get on this 6-inch sort of scale. Is that there's so much opportunity for kit bashing and merging your lines and being a bit more creative. And someone's in the comments. Thank you very much, Kelly, the Marvel nerd, is saying Outriders. They're called Outriders. That's what we couldn't remember.
Yes, thank you.
Outriders.
It's a very generic name.
Yes, well, I knew it, but I just couldn't pull it. Couldn't pull it. It's the pressure of being live. We're live. Right, moving on to the next release. This is one of the fan channel exclusives. This is again we sort of seen the listings for this one, but now we've got pictures. It is the camo version of the Punisher. Are you a fan of this version of Punisher?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Punisher, but I'm not like a diehard Punisher fan, so I'll probably end up skipping this one.
I will buy every version of Punisher they want to give me. I'm not going to lie to you. I love the Punisher. I love how forget about justice. If you're a bad guy, he will just kill you. You don't deserve to be around. I just love that viciousness from him. And give me Punisher in all forms. And I like this more street sort of tactical Punisher, because the other Punishers we have are usually wearing like spandex, and I doubt Punisher's going around the streets dressed as a gymnast. So this one seems a bit more believable.
The
Even though I don't know why they have solid gold guns, by the way.
the only thing that's going to be kind of might look a little weird is that this is basically on the Killmonger body.
Oh, okay.
And if you put him next to the Walgreens Punisher, he's going to look small because the Walgreens Punisher is on the Grim Reaper mold.
Oh, okay. I see that.
So he's definitely going to look like he skipped leg day because his legs are a lot smaller.
Maybe he was wearing platform boots before. We just don't know. Right. Let's keep on this fan channel sort of vibe, and let me find the pictures for the next one they revealed. And again, another one we knew was coming, and it is Deathlock in his X-Force gear. Are you a Deathlock fan?
A little bit. I mean, I like X-Force, so and I predicted once the list for for those a lot of these figures leaked that they were just going to give us an X-Force version. So I'm glad that that's what they did, because I'm looking forward to being able to build that team further out. So
Who have we got in that team so far? Is Cable, Domino, Weapon
well,
X?
yeah, and I don't know if Cable's costume
Is
changed
accurate. Yeah.
as far as being on that team, but we got Wolverine.
Oh yeah, brand new. Yeah, on
and if you're lucky enough to have the Archangel.
Oh yes, you not got it.
Which I do not. That pack is extremely hard to get.
You need to tell me these things. I can still get Archangel right now. I can order it from a shop.
No. I'm talking about the 3-pack Archangel.
Oh, the one that was a San Diego exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely don't have that one. That one come with Psylocke as well, I think, didn't it?
Correct. Yes, and they need to redo her anyway, because that was not a great figure.
Yeah, I can confirm I definitely do not have that version.
Yeah.
Just skipping on to the next one, we got Giant Man. To be honest, even though I'm an MCU guy, I was hoping for a comic version of Iron Man with this release. I'm not going to lie, because I already have this figure essentially.
Oh yeah, that. I mean, for those who don't have it, I'm happy for them, especially since they fixed those boot flaps. Um, that was a really odd design choice. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but yeah, it pretty much looks the same. It's a little darker, but
Yeah, he said it's
yeah,
more movie accurate. It's a bit more shiny. He hasn't got those tongues on his shoes anymore. It looked like it
yeah,
was, so. But again, I would have preferred a comic version. And people are saying in the comments we forgot about Phantom X and the X Force. I don't have a Phantom X figure, so when I'm turning and looking on my shelf, he's not there to remind me.
yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to remember. Does Phantom X have ball jointed hips?
He was on a Bucky cap, I'd like to say, because he was wearing the same coat as Punisher. That old style Punisher, I believe. Right, what do I want to go to? I want to find the next Walgreens exclusive, which I have to give credit to you, Mr. Rectangular. You have been talking about this for probably the best part of a year, and they've only finally shown us what it looks like, and it is, of course, Danny Moonstar. Is going to be the next Walgreens exclusive. They said the fall, but that could mean September, October. Who knows? To be honest, I'll probably end up getting this one before you guys because we don't have Walgreens. I'm usually quite lucky like that. Are you liking this one?
Yeah. I'm. It's kind of a shortcut that they did.
Cheeky, yeah.
Packing it.
Very cheeky.
Yeah. But I'm still really happy. I'd rather have a full blown Wolfsbane body instead of cheating the way that they're doing.
Yeah, that seems a bit sneaky. Yeah.
But and also I feel like they kind of they went the cheap route with her boots. I'm surprised that she didn't have actual moccasins.
Oh, with the flares on the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah. That they did make I don't know if it ever got released or it was just a prototype, but there was a version of Danny Moonstar that was going to be a variant, I believe, of I don't know if it was Mystique or someone in the Epic Heroes line, but I've definitely seen pictures of a Danny Moonstar that never got released.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people buy multiple versions of is it Kitty Pryde to get this outfit for females. So I guess this is a good way to do that now as well.
Yeah, I think she's going to be regular adult size female. I don't think she's going to be on the teenage body mold. Kitty Pryde is really tall.
Do you or anyone in the comments know much about Karma? I don't know much about Karma, the character.
No, neither do I.
So because they showed her first on the panel, and there wasn't much of a reaction because I don't think the majority, obviously the diehard did, but the majority didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
But now we have a Karma, Wolfsbane, and Danny Moonstar. And again, it looks quite cheeky, but it's you don't have to buy 3 of them if you don't want to, But for the people who do want to have every version represented individually on the shelf, then fair play to Hasbro for packing that stuff in there. So I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah, hopefully they convince Walgreens to carry more than one case because it seems like each store only gets one case and then that's it. So
how many's in a case? About 8?
Yeah, there's 8 in a case.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're not there to snag the case when it hits the store, then good luck, getting multiples. The only thing is buy online, and then you have your better, you can more order as many as you want, pretty much.
And by the way, I just want to quickly say I'm not neglecting the chat. I have got a screen in front of me with it open. So shout outs to everyone watching us live now. We've got about just under 40 people here joining us just for a Sunday evening chat about some Marvel Legends over this past weekend. And people are sort of correcting us in the comments. You were right, Phantom X was the ball jointed hips, the legs even. And then it was a Mystique that was the variant of the Danny Moonstar I was talking about. Because they shared the same packaging. That was how I remembered it. Like, it was Mystique and Danny Moonstar for some random reason. But everyone seems to be agreeing with your frustrations of Walgreens. Everyone because even that even got a groan when they announced it in the panel, and I think someone on the panel said, "Don't moan or don't groan." The buyer from Walgreens is actually in the audience.
Yeah, thank the heavens for that guy, because man, now
Of course, yeah, the Fantastic
we have a
Four.
complete Fantastic Four. You can keep that Doctor Doom, but
We get
oh
to that. We get to that.
yeah, but Walgreens any day now, because people keep pestering me, and not just about not just about Walgreens, but everything. Um, we should see the Emma Frost that Dan has already reviewed. Uh, we should see her showing up any day now, and that could be online and it could be in stores. It really depends on um,
So
how they want to do the distribution.
so she's not even appeared in stores yet.
No, so I'm tired of people in the UK complaining that they don't get Marvel Legends. You
Look,
guys,
yeah, we get lucky every now and then, but I don't want to rub it in anyone's faces. But she does look really, really nice. She's
yeah,
on display behind me with Magic. So apparently her and Magic are in the same squad at one point, but I can't remember that storyline. But yeah, if anyone does need one, I think they're still available in the UK. That's the advantage of not having Walgreens. We have one advantage of the UK, but everything else is slow. Unless you know a guy who can send you all the Marvel 80th anniversary lines, but that's a secret I'm not sharing with anyone. Right, let's get on with the list. Right, right. The next one is the one I can't say, so it's I leave it to you. I say it's the Havoc and
Polaris.
2-pack. Thank you very much. Rektangular was laughing at me earlier because I can't say Polaris properly. Polaris. Yeah, I'll get used to it. I remember her from this particular look. I've first seen it in the animated show. Like, I genuinely seen the animated show before I read the comics. That was my introduction to the X-Men way back in the 90s. And this is how she appeared in the animated show. So I like this look for her. But I didn't dislike the other figure as well. But this is the more iconic look in my mind when you think of this character.
Yeah, I mean, her hair is crazy, but that is accurate.
I was saying in my video, it's even though she's a 90s design, that if my mum had green hair in the 80s, that's what her hair looked like. My mum had a massive fro. It just wasn't green. So that is an 80s hairstyle all day long.
Yeah.
But yeah, Havoc as well. It's not there. Havoc's went through many different costumes in the comics. Obviously, he's more iconic one, the one with the sort of lines over his head, I think it is. But Hasbro haven't given us one of them yet. They've given us the more modern version, and now they're giving us this X Factor version. But this particular 2-pack will go very well with your. Who have we already got? Multiple Man. How many multiple men have you got?
I didn't go crazy. I probably only have like 3 or 4.
Comments, people in the comments. Who's the winner? Who's got the most multiple men? I've never said this before, and I probably shouldn't say it live, but I do want multiple men. But in figure form, people. I've only got one. So James Maddock, is that his name? James Maddock, I think that's multiple man's name. I only have one of him, but I do wanted to get at least 3 to display each one of their heads. But just too many legends are hitting me to buy multiples at once, so that might have to wait.
I think it's Jamie Madrox.
Jamie, there you go. I knew it was a J and then M. I don't know who I just said. Probably my neighbour or something like that. Right. Let me switch it back. Right, what else is on my list? Okay.
Well, they look good. The only thing is, like, my complaint with Hasbro is that they make the hair sculpts for the females so hard that the articulation is
they
always
can't
a
look
bitch.
up. Yeah, they can't look up.
So hopefully there's enough clearance in that peg where you can like pop it backwards and then have her clear her hair so she can look up at least a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. That's frustrating. And those effects pieces, I don't know if people are fans of them or not, but I still appreciate Hasbro giving us at least something in the pack. But
they need after that set, they need to retire those.
Yeah, they don't look like anyone's effects. Let's be honest.
We're we're done. We need some new
Yes,
effects.
100%, 100%. Right, this next reveal, well, it's not a reveal, everyone knows it exists. I've already pre-ordered 2 of them. I'm not even going to lie to you. My favourite reveal, so if you've been watching my channel, then this won't come as no surprise to you, but is, of course, the Love Triangle 3-pack Rektangular. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. That now I have an extra Cyclops and extra Old Man Logan that I don't that I can get rid of, I guess, because I was going to do the Punker Mike kit bash.
Yes, I seen that a while ago. He was like probably the first to put it on YouTube.
Yeah, which he did an excellent job.
Is that just the
But yeah,
Logan arms? The Logan arms and Logan jacket?
uh, as far as I can tell,
Old man Logan.
it could be the actually those are not those are single jointed because I'm pretty sure Old Man Logan has double jointed elbows.
Okay.
Those are from Multiple Man.
Oh yes, of course he wears the grey jacket with the Punisher jacket. Yeah, oh, not grey, brown.
Which suck because they're single jointed. So that is disappointing. But how articulated do you need that Cyclops to be? But I'm very happy that Jean comes with 2 heads.
She is definitely the highlight. She's the reason I brought 2 of these, is so I can have both versions of Jean on the display somewhere. I'm thinking of doing like a sort of casual version of Cyclops and Wolverine with a version of Jean, and then somewhere else on the display you can have the more battle ready Cyclops and Wolverine and try and make the most out of buying multiples. But yeah, you're right, 100%, and everyone agrees with you. The reason people are buying this set is Jean Grey, and it's so good of Hasbro, and I think this is a bit of fan service from Hasbro, and this is where we have to praise them for listening, is they've given us both heads.
Yeah, and then multiple hits for Scott too. That's nice.
And I've read as well that one of both, the reason we've got multiple heads for Scott is one of them is more comic and one of them is more animated, so they're doing both versions, but I can't tell the difference. It's just a guy with red sunglasses, but it looks good. I appreciate it.
And we finally get a fist on the left hand for Scott.
Oh, of course, yeah. So he's not always looking like he's doing something weird with his fingers. Yes, I did not even notice that until you just said it there.
The one of the things that I'm pretty critical about is the length of those bone claws. I think is too long. Like if you were to cut those off and stick them in his forearm, I mean they would go into the palm of his hand.
Yes.
They're too long. So. Just me being critical.
Yeah, I don't understand why they've given us the bone claws for this particular version of Wolverine, because when he's wearing this outfit, I can only ever remember him, comics or animated, having the adamantium claws, or I guess they're going to be vibranium if he goes to the MCU, who knows. But that is my favourite version of Wolverine. Articulated Heroines in the comments said they would have preferred a bandana head for the Wolverine. I'm just quite glad we've got an unmasked head that doesn't look stupid, because the one we got on that Weapon X and the one we got in the patch just didn't work for an unmasked head for a normal Wolverine.
Yeah, this one is okay. I much prefer a lot of the unmasked heads that Toy Biz gave us. They're a little bit on the small side, but Hasbro just has not been able to knock a good unmasked Wolverine. The patch one is really nice. I'm hoping that they'll go back and maybe give us one without the eye patch. But it apparently in the comics, I'm assuming he was wearing that costume. Magneto stripped him of his adamantium.
Oh, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Because of course it's just adamantium infused on his bones, isn't it, or something like that? So.
Yeah.
Yep. You're probably right. I was just showing off that I've actually already got that 2-pack. I just didn't want to show Jean Grey. I'm keeping her secret. Right. So that is, as I said, it's no secret. That's my favourite reveal of the weekend, just for the pure nostalgia that comes with it. As I said, X-Men and Spider-Man, those kind of TV shows were my introduction to Marvel. So they always hold a special place in my heart. But but what is next on my list? Okay, so moving on to 2020. Now, I'll ask you before I reveal this next figure, how many of the Riders Wave figures have you brought so far?
Let's see. I skipped on Deadpool. I had to buy the Bob head off of eBay because I just wanted the Bob head.
Oh, the
Even though I did see
smiley Hydra guy. Yep.
yeah, Hydra Bob. I did see Deadpool at Target on sale, but I didn't pick it up. And then obviously I think two Professor X.
Oh yeah, I feel like I need to buy an extra one as well, just to store away, because that one's going to be one of those hard to find ones very soon.
Yeah, I have the Wolverine, and I'm not getting the Captain America World War II cap. I do have the Ghost Rider, so I have almost all of them.
Yeah, it's the same as me. I've got them all. I have the only one I haven't pre-ordered is the new cap. I just didn't pull the trigger, but I might now to go with the MCU version of World War II cap. That might persuade me, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet.
So to be fair, I should say I have half of them, but
that's still good going.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I was just going to put on the screen the first reveal for the Riders Wave 2020, which is Ghost Rider. Now, do you know much about the Cosmic Ghost Rider?
A little bit. This was going to be a total pass for me, and then I remembered that this Ghost Rider is in the new Guardians, so I have all the issues downloaded currently, but I haven't read them yet.
Wow, so you will at some point be introduced to the Frank Castle, aka Ghost Rider, aka Cosmic Ghost Rider. How did Frank Castle get to space first and foremost?
Yeah, I haven't done the backstory read on how he got the way he did and then joined Guardians, but I'm Guardians is the only team that I really try to keep up with as far as the comics go, so I'm gonna need that figure.
Yes, right. Let me just skip along and see if I can find the next.
He looks amazing.
Yes, he does, 100%. As I said, because I've got no sort of draw to him yet. It sort of isn't. I don't know. I'm just not drawn to him yet. But I'm guessing when I start doing some research and realize how good he is, I'll want him. But the figure looks amazing, to be fair to Hasbro, and it just shows how quickly their turnaround is, because he only debuted in the comics very recently. So it shows reading, well, at least looking at the comics for modern comics for inspiration, and they're not scared to do new things. But this one, I think I'm more excited about, which sounds a bit weird, but I'm not going to lie to you. I think I prefer. If I had to choose between Cosmic Ghost Rider or Squirrel Girl right now, I think it's Squirrel Girl. I don't know why. I can't help myself.
Yeah, she looks really nice.
She just looks sweet. Yeah. Look how happy she is with her and her little squirrels in her basket. How could you not want that on the shelf? I've got a little niece, and my niece would love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the character, but as a figure, it looks really nice, and I'm excited for every time I see, every time we get a new mold of any kind, I'm excited for the potential. So I'm seeing new boots that could possibly use for Snowbird, even though I think Snowbird, I think her boots traditionally are more kind of like pirate boots, but I would be totally happy to use those on her, and then those cuffs, those furry cuffs at the top of her pants or shorts, whatever, they to me smell like Emma Frost.
Okay, in a white.
Yeah,
but in a winter.
But I think traditionally she has kind of like a bikini design, so I don't know. Hasbro always tries to go more conservative with the costumes, so I would, if there's any incidents where they see a more conservative version of that character, I think they're going to go that route. I don't know about the vest so far, what they're going to use that for, but the thing that I'm most excited for is the tail, because Hepzibah, who I'm a huge fan of Starjammers,
Has a
has
big
a very
tail.
yeah, she has a big bushy tail, even though she's supposed to be a cat. They've always drawn her with a big bushy
Uh,
tail, so I can totally see them using that
I
for her.
was going to ask you what figure could possibly reuse that tail, but you've just answered that question for me.
Yeah, yeah. Please, please, please give us some Starjammers. I'm dying to. I have customs that have been sitting in a bin. I have parts. In fact, I bought a bobblehead rocket raccoon to use the tail for Hepzibah.
Oh, you
But
need to show off some of your customs. I've not seen those.
no, well, because they're all in bins. They're just like projects. Someday when I get time, I'll be able to work on. But
I do that with dioramas. There's a diorama behind me which I'll probably show on the video at some point that I started and then never finished. But yes, there is a Squirrel Girl. She comes with 3 squirrels, including Tippy Toe. So if you want to add in the squirrel pool as well, I guess you're going to have 4 squirrels now on your Marvel Legends shelf. So, but what else is on my list? Okay, so we're still in 2020. And so my question to you is, did you play the PS4 Spider-Man game?
no, I haven't played a video game in a long time.
As in any video game at all? You just...
Yeah, yeah. The last video game I probably played was either Portal 2 or is it Dirt 3 or Dirt 4? I can't remember the last one.
So do you have a PS4 or Xbox guy? Any preference?
I've never touched a PS device, so
Wow,
I've
ever?
only,
Not even a PS1? Not even Crash Bandicoot or anything way back in the day?
I don't think so.
You a Nintendo guy? Is that where it is?
No, I had a friend who had an N64. And we played Dash Rendar like crazy when it first came out.
Sega, isn't it? Sega N64.
No, it was a Nintendo.
Oh, okay. I never had any Nintendo, like, never
Yeah.
played Mario or anything, or Zelda or anything like that. Always been a Sony sort of Sega, then I jumped to Sony guy. What are the comments saying? Are you guys PS4 or Xbox? I see a few people talking. Doodog says Metal Gear Solid. I definitely remember playing Metal Gear Solid, to be fair.
The first and last console I ever bought was the Xbox 360.
To be fair, I've got a PS4 and I use that now for more just streaming. Plugged in my TV and I use that for Netflix. And even my girlfriend knows how to use my PS4 just because she knows how to get on all the streaming stuff. But to be fair, in the last few years, not that I was ever a massive gamer, but I'm just more of a very lad gamer. Like I'll pick up FIFA occasionally or Call of Duty. But I don't really have the time to invest in many other games. But I did buy Spider-Man, obviously, for the love of Marvel. And I did buy the Spider-Man PS4 figure, which I haven't even took out the box. I don't even know if I filmed a review for it. I genuinely can't remember. But I do have the Spider-Verse Spider-Man. He looks good in person, looks nice. And anyway, that brings me on the very long-winded way around to say that in 2020, the first Marvel Legends Spider-Man wave is going to have a couple of these character designs in from the game. And this first one, I believe, is called the Velocity Suit Spider-Man. Do you like the design at least, not knowing anything about where it's from?
No, I can't say I do.
I'm thinking I just love building stupid little dioramas for my own displays at home, and all these Spider-Man outfits now just make me think I could build some sort of a Spider-Man diorama with. Did you see the end of what was it? Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
So there's like a scene where there's like a little hall of armor, but for Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, again, just something stupid like that. That's probably where I'd use these type of figures on my display. But the second one, again, you won't know anything about, is the Spider Armor 3. Again, I don't know if it's just in the game or in the comics at any point. But both quite similar designs, to be fair. But I thought it was interesting that Hasbro were actually putting the PS4 based figures into the mainline Spider-Man waves, because we always start off the year with a Spider-Man wave, whether it's Sandman or Kingpin. So obviously this is going to be the first Spider-Man wave of 2020, which we usually end up seeing on shelves at the end of the year. And it looks like we're at least getting 2 of these PS4 versions. But I imagine they'll probably give us a Mr. Negative, or at least one of the villains from the game.
Well, did they confirm that those two are definitely going to be in the wave?
Yeah, from what I listened at the panel, Ryan, as he was talking, he said these are going to be in the first Spider-Man wave of 2020. And as I said, you'll know better than anyone. That's usually it was the Kingpin, and then the year before that it was Sandman. I might be wrong,
Yeah.
but
So probably start showing up right before
yeah.
Christmas.
So I do think we will see these this year, but towards the tail end, because it always frustrates me when we get that last. We always get that wave a little bit early, and people start putting them in their top tens of the year, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not even it's not even meant to be out yet. You're cheating, but never mind.
Yeah.
It's a stupid thing that bugs me. I hate when people do top 10 lists of things they buy, but they've brought it 2 years out of date and they put it in their top 10 list of that year. And I'm like, no, if that came out 2 years ago, it shouldn't be in your list.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that they would put these figures in the main line and not make them GameStop exclusives.
Yeah, I agree. I would have preferred them to be separate. I think enough people still would have brought them regardless. But yeah, it shows that Hasbro are not scared to throw them in the main line. Now I'm just skipping through my pictures to try and find the next reveal, but I don't know if I have a pretty promo shot of him or not. I do have one from. I found one. So if you're a Marvel fan, you probably know that now we are officially getting a Shang-Chi movie. Shang-Chi and is it the Master of the Ten Rings or something like that?
Something like that.
Only got revealed last night, people. All right, so I know don't be attacking me in the comments. All right, but we're getting a Shang-Chi film. They announced the cast, at least that we're getting a real Mandarin. So we're going to find out who the real Mandarin is, and we're getting a Shang-Chi figure the first time for Hasbro, I believe. Is that true?
Yeah, it's the first time in figure form, as far as I know.
So in the comics, he doesn't always go around topless. So I imagine we'll get a Shang-Chi line some point in the future, and that's when we'll see different versions of this guy. But they also said in the panel that they're going to pack this box with as much hands as they can fit. So we should have lots of skin tone hands like they did with, I believe it was the white Iron Fist they did a while ago.
Correct.
So that should be quite useful for anyone who wants to kit bash or just use extra hands for your other figures. I always like it when they do packings like that can actually be used amongst your display. But yeah, I think he looks all good. It looks like he's got a new chest. I think I've seen a few people online getting excited. He's got nipples, but each to their own. But it does seem like a new chest articulation. But he is a master of the martial arts, so it only makes sense that that's the case.
Yeah, and Dwight said that he's got new arms as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so it's like a whole new up section for his topless look, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they come with any interchangeable heads, because you can get a more expressive head than that when you're fighting, surely. So maybe, but I doubt it if they're throwing loads of hands in the box. But still, that was announced to be part of that Spider-Man wave as well. And you can usually tell because it's got the same red smoke on the promo image, which sort of shows it's in the same wave. And then they revealed the next one, which ignore me skipping through them, but I found it. It is the classic Vulture. Now, if anyone watched my prediction video, it wasn't really much of a prediction video, more so of a wish list. And as a massive, I don't know if you can tell from if I quickly spin the camera back to me, just behind me is like my evil sort of villain shelf for Spider-Man. Obviously, I love that animated show and all the Spider-Man Rose Gallery. Probably, in my opinion, better than Batman's. I know a lot of people say Batman's probably got the best Rogue Gallery, but if you really think about it, I think Spider-Man's goes a little bit deeper. And yeah, really happy to have a classic Vulture. I actually have the other Vulture. This Vulture, this Ultimate Vulture that I've not even bothered opening because I just didn't think it would look right on my display. But we're now finally... Hasbro are giving us an updated classic Vulture.
Yeah, I'm excited to get him, but I'm not impressed by those wings. They seem like they just kind of they went the least expensive route as far as the mold goes. They don't really look like feathers to me.
Well, I'm not sure if I can zoom in. Well, maybe I can. Oh, zoomed into his crotch. I didn't mean to do that. But it looks like there. I don't know if it's actually coming up on screen or not. I've zoomed into the picture, and there's an actual cut in the wings. It looks like, so the wings might fold on themselves. Like, I don't know for sure. Obviously, none of us know, but there might be a cut in the wings, so they might be able to detach from the top part of the forearm. I don't know if I can zoom in any more, and this is just me being very picky, but it looks like there may be like a peg for the wings just under the forearm there. But I don't know. So they could be glued on there, or they could be, you might be able to take them off. I have no idea. But I'd actually quite like the idea of taking them off, so you could display them around the table with the Sinister Six or something like that. But yeah, I'm happy that at least there, again, Hasbro are aware that we wanted it for the Sinister Six, and they give it us.
Yeah, the head looks nice. That was one of the last Toy Biz figures that I picked up was the old Toy Biz Vulture, which minus the ball jointed hips,
still holds up, doesn't it? Yeah,
still a really nice figure.
Just want to send some love again to everyone watching. We've got about 62 people joined us now. Apologies, we're not replying to every comment in the chat. We're just going to go through this lineup, and then we'll answer some questions as we wrap up. If that's all good with you, Todd.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's a good idea.
Right, so only a few more to go now anyway, and all of these we're talking about now are 2020 releases. So ignore me as I skip through. But there we have the next one I wanted to talk about. It is the all-new She-Hulk. But apparently we're not allowed to call her She-Hulk anymore. She is just Hulk. I didn't know she was just called Hulk anymore. I didn't think it mattered, but apparently it does. And she's no longer green, she's grey. And again, I don't know the story that it's to do with.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with those books, but she looks nice. Hopefully when Dwight said that the range of motion in her arms is good, I hope that's not glossing over, because for a figure that size, they could have definitely given her double jointed elbows.
Having a look, zooming in there to having a look, and I think they even said, didn't they, they're single jointed, but they've got a good range. Yeah. But she looks like she's got massive muscles, so I don't see how the range is going to be that good. But we shall see.
That's definitely a prototype, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. To be fair, it does look hand painted, doesn't it? I think there is a promo picture somewhere. If I can
I've got it. If you want me to send it to you.
I've got it. I've just didn't put anything in order, so I'm like skipping through everything. There she is. I've got her. She does look good. Apparently, she's going to be about 7 inches. I did buy the A-Force box set, to be fair. But She-Hulk, in my mind, is green. I would have actually, and I'm sure the comments section would agree with me, I would have liked to seen She-Hulk as a lawyer. Do you know, like with the pencil skirt and maybe a blouse, do you know, but as She-Hulk, because that's what she's famous for. She's being a lawyer. So that would have been pretty good to get, rather than a ripped up version.
Yeah, they do have that SDCC exclusive version where she is in a lawyer.
Do they?
Costume. Yeah.
Is that a Hasbro release or Toy Biz?
Hasbro.
I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah, that was like the second SDCC exclusive that they did. The first one, I think, was the Spider-Man.
I thought the first Hasbro San Diego Comic-Con exclusive was the Hasbro when they did the hammer, the Thor's hammer, where the Thor figure in the hammer.
You're talking about Return of Marvel.
Oh, okay. You're going way back.
This is back. Yeah, this is back in the dark days of when they first took over the license.
Yeah, I stepped away. I wasn't buying as much as I was buying them. I had a few on the shelf back in the day, but there was definitely a time where I wasn't buying any. And then I got pulled back in. That's why I love the MCU so much, because the MCU sort of resparked my love for Marvel, and it made me jump back into the comics and made me find the figures again. And again, that's why I love the MCU, because it resparked my passion for Marvel. And the movies are great as well. And the world agrees with me, considering Endgame is now officially the biggest, highest grossing movie of all time. We beat Avatar, finally. It got dethroned. So good, because Avatar, I can't remember it being as good as everyone seems to think it is. Not worthy of being the most successful film of all time anyway. Right, so these next figures I'm going to talk about. I said in my sort of panel rundown, I didn't know anything about. So I'm hoping Rektangular can sort of inform me. But these are the Age of Apocalypse versions of the X-Men characters. And I'm just skipping through my pictures now to try and find them. But this first one, so obviously I know it's Morph. People have told me it's Morph. They announced it as Morph. But you have to admit, it looks like comic version of Caliban cosplaying as a Magneto in the wrong colours. Am I wrong?
Well, you are wrong in assuming that I know anything about
Oh,
Age of Apocalypse.
okay.
Because I don't understand to this day. I do not understand the hype for AOA. Jesse Falcon seems to be the only person who gives a crap about AOA because every comic book head that I've talked to, friends of mine, are like, "Yeah, it wasn't that good of a story. I don't understand. The costumes were whack. I don't understand why people care about AOA." And Jesse Falcon is the only one who does, apparently.
Annoyingly, though, he is the one guy that sort of matters because he can choose
Yeah,
what gets made. Yeah, that's
exactly.
frustrating.
So yeah, it's very frustrating. I have zero interest in any AOA figure, and I have no idea. I've never read the story. The costumes look completely whack to me. So I'm the wrong guy to be talking to
No.
about it.
Again, like as I said earlier, I try and be the positive guy because I'm bored of grown men bitching about toys online and moaning. And I hate when you post a picture up of a new figure or a new release and people actually make the effort to write skip or pass. Like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, it frustrates me. So I try and be positive, but I'm struggling with these. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea about the character designs. I don't even particularly like the character designs. I never read the Age of Apocalypse. And if this is a full Age of Apocalypse wave with all these funky character designs and a Build-A-Figure that's Age of Apocalypse based, again, I don't like being one of these guys, but it may be the first time I just think, nah, I'll save the money.
Yeah, I'm exactly in the same boat. I have zero interest in any of these figures, and I have no interest in reading, one-off storylines that are just look whack to me. I mean, just like I'm done. I'm like, yeah, my wallet will be very grateful.
Apparently, this guy is got a very unique name. It took him forever to think of this. He's called X-Man.
Yeah.
X-Man.
Yeah.
How creative from an X-Men writer. It's ridiculous. But apparently it is, I think it's maybe Cyclops' son or something like that. I don't know. I was reading something on it, and it's something to do with the Summers sort of bloodline, or he's probably Cable's son, because look at that eye, for God's sake. It's obviously got something to do with Cable.
I want to say his name is Nathan Gray.
Okay, so it is Cable's, something to do with Cable or Cyclops, or that bloodline anyway. So no wonder Apocalypse. Probably Mr. Sinister probably wants a piece as well because he's obviously addicted to that family bloodline as well. But yeah, I don't know anything about him. Not gonna lie to you. And this one looks ridiculous to me. Like I can't take it serious. This one's apparently Weapon X, but it's not the Weapon X I know. What's he got a spork on his hand for?
I don't know, man.
He's like just got skewers on his hand, like a stubby hand.
He's very popular at barbecues.
Honestly, I would hire him to do a barbecue. 100%. He could do skewers, bring them to the table to you. To be fair, any version of Wolverine could, but his arms like purposely built for. To be fair, he probably comes with interchangeable pieces that change to like a spoon, a giant spoon, and then a giant fork, and they're just like different wrist pieces that interchange on that arm. Probably has a hook as well. Yeah, I'm taking the piss because obviously, people, I apologise if you're a fan of Age of Apocalypse, but this ain't the Weapon X I know. Why is he like that? I don't get it. Who chopped his arm off?
I don't know. I haven't read it.
Do anyone in the comics know comments why he's got all this graffiti on him and he's got some sort of fork arm? scissor hands, people are calling him in the comics. The head, don't get me wrong, they're saying the head sculpt is sick, and I don't disagree. Like, it does actually look good. If he didn't have that red on the top of his head, then that would actually be quite a good unmasked head for the proper version of Weapon X we've got.
Yeah, I suppose.
And we could just paint over that red as well, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a little acetone just to get rid of it.
Yeah, so there's me reaching for a positive in this figure. Again, it looks good if that's what the character is, but I've just got no feelings towards it at all. So again, and I'm a massive X-Men fan. Like, all my shelf, this side of the room is all X-Men, but I just Age of Apocalypse was at that time where I just wasn't reading comics at all, so that one went over my head. But yeah, the next, so there's only one more X-Men guy, and apparently this is going to be a builder for another Deadpool wave next year.
Yeah.
So am I right in saying that? Someone did say that, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah, that's everything that I've heard is true about that.
Okay, so I'm just finding the picture. I've definitely got it here somewhere. I'm looking. Obviously, if you couldn't tell people, it's Strong Guy. They're heavily. I don't know if people were joking that they actually wanted a Strong Guy, because I know they joked about it at the last year's Comic-Con. But he's actually reality, and the crowd give him a bit of a cheer as well. So here we have X Factor's Strong Guy. I don't know how he's standing on those little legs with that top heavy body. Very curious to see how that works in person, because his feet look tiny compared to his upper body.
They definitely need to go back and make those feet bigger.
Yeah, I don't get how that's going to stand. It will fall over very easily. But he will look good with the Polaris. I'm still saying that wrong, aren't I? And Havoc, and also, as I said, Multiple Man, and anyone else you want to put in your X Factor team. But those colours will definitely stand out on your shelf. And it looks like a fun action figure. But Strong Guy is just not one of my favourites, to be fair. But he looks good.
Yeah, not super disproportioned so far as the legs, because I see a lot of customs where they put some awful skinny legs on him, and this looks pretty good. But like, again, they need to make those feet bigger, because otherwise he's just going to topple over.
Unless the plastic's quite light at the top, I imagine it being quite hollow, depending on what type of articulation. But those ball joints are quite big to hold those shoulders in place. So yeah, who knows? But they know what they're doing at Hasbro. But yeah, this is apparently going to be the first builder figure of the Deadpool line next year. So we're not getting any Deadpool films from what I know of, but Hasbro is going to continue to give us the Deadpool wave. So that must mean they're doing well for Hasbro.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. Is that can we, finish some more X-Force teams, or are we going to get God, what's that dude? Dude with the big jacket and all the pouches.
You're talking about any character created by Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, exactly. God, I want to say Maverick, but that's not the right name. But
I'm just looking for this last figure we got to talk about, and you definitely had some comments about this one. So let's jump straight into it. Dr. Doom. It was the last figure they revealed on the panel, and then they brought it out to the show floor. And what do you think?
Initially, I was really excited. Then they showed the figure out on the floor, and I think initially when I saw it, I thought it was going to be cloth. And I was like, oh, they're going to make it like a deluxe Doom with cloth clothing. But, Hasbro was never a fan of cloth, so it looks good. A lot of the details look really amazing. The head looks amazing. I'm just concerned about the lack of articulation. One thing that is very positive I can say about it is that he does have ankle rockers. He's got like that new joint that is like, he's got like a separate ankle piece that rotates, and then a ball rocker at the bottom of that.
Oh, and it looks like as well that the armor on his shins is a little bit higher to give it enough wiggle room type thing.
Yeah, so at least as far as standing poses, he should do really well. As far as sitting, you're probably gonna have to get the Marvel Select if you want him to sit down.
Yeah, apparently the chest areas, obviously no ab crunch, but there's going to be like a diaphragm ball at the waist just above the bout. So I doubt you're going to be able to get him sitting with that plastic skirt. But the head sculpt looks good. I'm curious to know if that mask comes off like the Epic Heroes version did. Because we did get an unmasked head with that recent Doctor Doom. But it was the like pretty boy version of Doctor Doom when Victor was healed again. So obviously the guy behind this mask should be horribly scarred. So we shall see. But I think I've got some pictures from the showroom floor. Let me see if I can find them.
And I have a feeling that initially that this was going to be the Walgreens exclusive, but that he needed more time to tool it. And so once it was already in Walgreens' system that we were going to get a Doom, they're like, all right, well, what Doom can we put out real quick?
Oh, okay. So they did the old switcheroo on us.
Yeah, and then that's why we got that modern.
This 100% would have made more sense if you think about it with all the original Fantastic Four and then the Silver Surfer. This was the obvious version of Doom to give us. And you're right, out of nowhere we got that easy redo for them out of that Invincible Iron Man. So yeah, you're probably right. So do you think this is still going to be a Walgreens exclusive? Because they didn't actually say where this was going to be.
I kind of doubt it at this point, just because it seems like they have switched over to X-Men for Walgreens exclusives.
Yeah, with
but,
Frost, Magic, and now Danny Moonstar.
Yeah, exactly, with Emma Frost and then Magic and then Danny. So obviously that could change, and it definitely makes sense that he doesn't really fit into any other lines, unless I don't think they're going to come out with a Fantastic Four movie anytime soon.
Well, Kevin Feige did say they're thinking about it, but it's not going to be part of Phase 4. Same with Blade. Everyone thinks Blade's going to be part of Phase 4, but it's not. It's not. He's already said that it's not. And I don't know if I'm reading into things, but you see how the Hulk, they didn't actually announce what wave Hulk's going to be in, and Ryan actually went out of his way to say, I'm not telling you what wave. So that means it's not a generic X-Men or Avengers or anything like that, because he'd be allowed to say that. So that makes me believe, and this is my prediction, that this Hulk's going to be part of a Black Widow wave. Would I be a crazy guy to say that?
No, I mean, typically they announce something for next year. I mean, they usually are not making announcements for 2 years from now. So it would make sense that if they're going to do a wave of Black Widow figures, that they're gonna.
That is the next MCU film out next May. So, and the graphic designer, that Andy Park, says he's been working on it for over a year. So that means they've got concept art, they've got designs. So I wouldn't be surprised if they've already got their looks for a couple of the characters, because it's rumored we're going to get Taskmaster in that film as well.
Yeah, well, we have already seen Hollywood leaks.
Yes, it doesn't look great. I'm a fan of Taskmaster, and I'm very excited to see him in the MCU. And I like the fact that the Black Widow film's taking place in between Infinity War and Civil War, so it's not a film where we've got to go in the past. It's going to be quite modern, and just to see what Natasha was up to before she teamed back up with Cap.
Okay.
But again, the reason I pulled up Hulk was because she had the blue smoke on the promo pictures, and so does Doom. So again, this is just me reading far too much into it, but they seem to have a prototype ready, so obviously it's ready to start being made. Maybe we're going to get Doom and Hulk in the first Black Widow wave next year. Who knows?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense because, like you said, when they do these promos, it's usually for the artwork on the back of the package.
Yes.
Which Jerry Wilson does.
Yes, he has Instagram now as well, so he's not shy in sharing what he can share.
Yeah, so typically, they have all the same colors as far as the smoke goes. So that's not out of the realm of possibility that they're going to be in the same wave, and I guess it makes sense. Black Widow is generic enough, I guess, that they can just say, well, it's just a Marvel property, and throw whatever Marvel character you want in there.
Yep, I can as well. So, did you read any of the headlines from the Hall H panel of Marvel Studios?
No, my friend Dante was keeping me abreast of what films are coming, that they're working on, and
Any surprises? Anything that stuck out to you?
I was excited for the. I mean, I'm not a fan of Blade per se, but
Not the
I'm
Wesley
excited.
Snipes version at all.
I don't think I've ever seen those movies.
They are 21 years old. The first Blade come out in 1998.
Wow.
I've actually got all three. The third one's not very good, but the first and second one are definitely worth a watch. This is before X-Men. Everyone always says X-Men started the sort of comic films in blah blah blah, but Blade actually come out before X-Men.
Sure.
I'm very happy to see a Blade, and I like Mahershala Ali. I think I'm saying his name correctly. Obviously, he was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, and the Netflix shows were technically part of the MCU, even though they hardly ever made a reference to it. Technically, they were part of the MCU. So we've got the same actor from playing Cottonmouth as Blade, which, to be fair, doesn't bother me. You can pretend it's someone different; it's not bothered. But I do think personally, it's a great casting. Have you seen the film Green Book come out earlier this year? I think no,
Yes.
won the Oscar, didn't it? I think for Best Picture, or some, I think so. Could be wrong, but he was really good in that. That was one of his recent films. I think he's a
Yeah,
good.
and
I think he's really good.
I just watched Alita: Battle Angel last night, and that
Oh,
is a
yes.
fantastic movie. I
He's
can't
the
believe
villain
it.
in that, isn't he? He's the villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, that's better than I think the box office sort of showed.
yeah,
Probably come out at
definitely.
the wrong time, but yeah, that's. I think that is getting a sequel. To be fair,
Oh,
so
cool.
hopefully people get to see that when it's on home video and streaming. But yes, you're right. Right, so that is your whole rundown for the Marvel Legends panel from Hasbro. I think they threw in a couple of sneaky customs in the case as well. I think the first one that we spoke about on Instagram was it the Overdrive, which I actually got
Yeah,
quite excited about because that was one, as stupid as a figure it is, it was one that you need to complete a team. But apparently Dwight or someone said it's just a custom, which is
yeah.
annoying. And then they also put like a Macho Man version of Deadpool in the case today, which was random. And I wouldn't even put it past them if that is an actual release, because with Deadpool, they can just do anything they want and no one would argue. People would buy it.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. You get with WWE fans buying it, and you get Deadpool fans buying
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm a WWE fan. Like, I don't know if you can see above there, like just on that top shelf, I've created my own little roster of some of my favorite wrestlers. Um, so I am a WWE fan, but more of the Attitude Era, not so much the 80s. So I don't know much about Macho Man Randy Savage apart from he goes, "Oh yeah," or something weird like that. He has a really weird voice. Oh, I can't do it. Don't ask me to do impressions. But yes, okay. So let's just so we're not online all night long, let's just switch it to the comments. And I just want to say thank you to everyone joining us. As I said, we've seemed to have about 60 people strong listening to us just chat about Marvel Legends. As I said, San Diego Comic-Con is like Christmas for us collectors, and they always throw in something for everyone, as you have heard us two talk today. Some things we like, some things we don't like, but we don't have to buy it, people, and you don't have to moan about it either. If you don't like it, don't write a rant on Instagram, just don't buy it. You know, it's one of them. But if anyone has any questions for Mr. Rektangular, he is here. He is the man with all the Marvel Legend news. He always the first to drop any hints and exclusive or any tidbits that fall on the internet. This man will find them. Do you have any questions for him? Todd, you're probably going to have to open up the chat and read it with me because I've got some other program open up.
Unfortunately, I don't have any insight on stuff that hasn't been revealed yet.
Yeah, Todd, give us some exclusive for next year. Come on.
I'm working on it. I got one of my sources is trying to find some information, but yeah, I don't have as many sources as I used to, and because of the demise of Toys R Us, um, and just people just don't hit me up as much anymore, because a lot of where I'm able to get a lot of information is from employees who work at retail locations who have access to uh, their system.
And
And if
Hasbro have got a lot better at code naming stuff as well, where they never used to do
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Not only do they code name stuff, but um, they've really locked down, like they used to give stores that information so much earlier than they do now. Like, um, stuff just doesn't leak. And then also they seem to have locked down the factories pretty hard, because we used to get stuff leaked out. Stuff would show up on eBay like a month or 6 weeks before it would start, showing up in stores, or you'd be able to pre-order it.
I genuinely had the 80th anniversary figures in hand before I seen pictures of them online, as in hand. I genuinely think I'm probably one of the first to actually post a picture of having the sets in hand, and that is something that's never happened for me. I'm never the first person. So yeah, that shows if someone, or just a random guy from Coventry, England, can be the first to get a figure, then it shows that they've definitely locked down any leaks or anything that they had in the factories. Because you'd always see someone in the factory opening up and building the builder figures, and you'd see the builder figure like posed on a box or something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. It's harder now to get him tracked down, and Hasbro are probably well aware of what's going on, and they probably have a lot more of an online presence now. They have their own shop with the Hasbro Pulse. So having a quick look at the questions, Daryl is asking any word on Super Scroll. I know it's been teased for a while in the Walgreens computers, but is it still there?
Last time I checked, which has been a couple months, it's been a few months since I been able to harass an employee. It's really frustrating going to Walgreens because so few of the employees actually know how to use the computers, and like you almost just want to push them out of the way and like, here, just let me
Yeah,
do
give
it.
them a shakedown.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So since I moved, I haven't really um, made any kind of like relationships with the employees at my stores, and my stores. Um, there's only been a couple of Walgreens that have even had somewhat new stuff. Like most of them are still. I went to one Walgreens close to where I work that has 11 yellow daredevils on the shelf.
Wow, that guy's been around since 2015.
Yeah. So that just goes to show that, you know, Walgreens,
Do you know?
you know, they,
Do you know if each store has to individually order stuff? So, like for that example, if no one's buying the Deadpools, they don't bother ordering in any more Marvel Legends, or does stuff just get sent to the stores? Is it store by store, or is it just wholesale?
it kind of depends. The the way it used to work is that they would just send every store a case, and then they obviously are stuck with so many peg warmers now that they decided that only high performing stores are going to automatically get cases of figures, even if it's Walgreens exclusive. So then they really narrowed down. Only maybe one or two stores in your area are going to get are considered a priority store, and everybody else, they will either get like one figure from the case, or like one or two, um,
Do you have a
or they
lot?
won't
Do
get.
you have a lot of Walgreens in your area? Because I've been to America quite a few times in the last few years. I've been Florida, San Francisco. I went to Vegas. I went LA, and there is Walgreens everywhere. It's like a disease. Every corner you turn, there's a Walgreens. Like, so I thought it'd be great being a Marvel Legends collector in America because there's a Walgreens in every corner. But like you said, some of them are just deserted and don't have anything.
Yeah, yeah, it really depends. I have four that are somewhat reasonable driving distance to me, and only only two out of the four seem to get, like, I saw. Let's see, who did I see recently? I saw Beast at one store, which was a total surprise. So I've seen like the recent X-Men wave at one of the stores, and one other wave that dropped recently. Maybe the Spider-Man. Oh yeah, I saw Hydro Man.
Oh, okay, yeah, from
Yeah.
what's his name? This guy here, he's behind me on the shelf. I've started a. If I move him, everyone's gonna fall. I don't know what I've started here. I'm gonna leave them there. The camera's
So
delayed, so you're probably just gonna hear me scream, and then 2 minutes later, I see the shelf fall on me or something.
yeah, so those waves I've seen at a couple stores, but the other two, it's been just a ghost town. Just nothing but peg warmers.
Oh well, at least you can attempt to shop outside. Like honestly, in the UK, not one retail store apart from Forbidden Planet stocks Marvel Legends. Obviously, Toys R Us is gone now. We've got a shop called Smiths, which is like a Toys R Us but a UK and Ireland version. Doesn't sell Marvel Legends. And yeah, if it weren't for the online stores, we wouldn't be able to get them. Someone asked a question in the comments. Where can you pre-order the Love Triangle free pack? Now, obviously, it depends where you're from, but I can tell you from the UK, you can get them from Inderman Toys, Comic and Cocktails, Kapow Toys, Star Action Figures. Rectangular, where'd be the best place to pre-order in the US?
I mean, really pick your poison. Like every site has them right now.
Big Bag Toy Store, Dark Side Toys. Is it Dark Side or Dark Side?
Dork side.
Dork
Yeah,
Side. There's Entertainment Earth as well, isn't there? And there's plenty of other littler ones as well, I'm sure. Just Google it. I'm sure you'll find it. But
yeah.
it's definitely there. Most of the, virtually all of the figures that are coming out for the rest of the year are up for pre-order now, widely on all the sites and whatnot. The people are asking if Doctor Doom is an exclusive. They didn't say, did they? And we were speculating it could be part of the Black Widow wave just because of the promo picture, but we don't know that for sure. So, but we don't think that's an exclusive, do we?
No.
No. Cool. Someone's asked, why am I drinking bottled water if I can drink it from the toilet or sink? Good question. The toilet is not close to me right now, and I haven't got a long enough straw, so that's probably why not. I had to, or maybe the water in my bottle is scooped out from the toilet. You just don't know. But good question. Thanks for your time. Moving on. Do you think we will get another Endgame wave? No, but I wish that we were. But I do think they are done for Endgame figures this year. I think it's the last time we're going to get any figure from Endgame? No. I do think they will give us the Iron Man we want eventually. But I think they're done for Endgame figures this year. But I hope they're going to continue the trend of giving us revisiting MCU films of the past moving forward, because there's still a few gaps I'd like to fill. But you don't see any more full waves coming out this year, do you?
No.
No, same. Yeah, I agree. They're asking, Rectangular, which Legends would you like to see as a dream pick? Mine would be a 4-piece power pack set. Any dream Legends? You mentioned some earlier.
Power pack?
That's what he said. Mine would be a 4-piece power pack set. But I don't know who the power pack are.
I don't either. I would love Starjammers.
That's the one you said, Starjammer. It sounds like a 90s girl band, to be fair, Starjammers. But I don't know who they are. Cosmic, I imagine.
Yeah, they're basically like the X-Men version of the Guardians. That Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be huge. I would love to see a armored Gamora, spacesuit Gamora, basically, and a spacesuit Star Lord.
Similar to the Marvel Select versions. Did you ever pick them up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gamora is a bit too tall to use with Legends. I do have a kit bash that I put some shorter legs
Yeah,
on
I've
her,
seen
but
that. I've seen that. Was that? Yeah, I've definitely seen that online. Someone swapping the legs on that Gamora.
but yeah, it was nice to see a full on Legends version of her and a Star Lord in that Bendis spacesuit as well. Um, let's see, who else do we really need?
Someone's asking, how do we come up with our names? Now, this is something I haven't asked you. So, if you don't mind telling the people, where's Rectangular from?
Well, I I used to have rectangular, the proper way of spelling it. I used to have rectangular.com as my domain name, and then when I started YouTube, somebody had already had the username rectangular, so then I had to change it with a K. But the reason I came up with rectangular.com initially was uh, I've never been intoxicated in my entire life.
Wow, never drank.
No,
Wow,
I mean I've had alcohol, but I like
never got to that level, mate. I've woke up in
yeah,
bathtubs. I've blacked out. Yeah, let's not go there. But yeah,
yeah. No. So not just alcohol, but marijuana, anything. I've just never been intoxicated. So I fit into that definition of a square.
oh, okay. I see what you're going there. I see where you're going.
So I just always identified with being called a square. So yeah, rectangular was appropriate.
My friend, squares, geeks, nerds, they rule the world this day and age. Don't worry about it. We are all at them in some degree. Um, but yeah, I like it. I like it. I've never done drugs in my life. Doesn't interest me. But I'm British, of course, so I enjoy a drink. Drink as much tea as I can, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Dan Who, yeah, that sounds ridiculous when you don't get the concept. I used to make music. I used to run a record label, legit. Toured the country, performed songs, all of that nonsense. If you Google me, I still have a website, danw.co.uk, and I'm on YouTube as well. I've actually got music videos on YouTube at Dan. Just Google Dan W. You'll find my music videos. You can have a listen. You probably won't like it. That's why I don't promote it on this channel. It's like hip hop with a pop twist. I don't know. You go and find it if you really want to listen. But the gimmick was Dan Who, and I used to be like, have you heard Dan W? And people used to be like, Dan Who? Like who's Dan? Dan W? Who? Dan Who? So I used to always be like, Dan Who? Dan W? And it was a gimmick that stuck. It was stupid. It was just a joke that sort of I kept hold of. And Dan Who Reviews just sort of had a bit of a ring to it. But I'm an idiot because I made the YouTube page Dan Who Reviews, and then I realised it looks like when you type it on YouTube, Dan Haw Views. So it actually looks like I've got my YouTube channel is just about my views on whores, but I don't actually have any strong views on whores. It's all about Marvel Legends, I promise you. But yeah, Dan Who Reviews is from my music days. Dan Who, Dan W. If you really want to know, go and have a look.
Huh, I never identified it with prostitutes.
Yeah, honestly, it's been pointed out to me a few times that if you write in Dan Who Reviews, it actually looks like Dan Haw Views, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But it's too late now. I've committed, people. I've committed.
And I have to say I'm not a fan of for the most part I'm not a fan of rap or hip hop, but your music is pretty well done.
Oh, thank you very much. I didn't realise you checked it out. Was that me promoting myself? Was
Yeah,
that me going, Rectangular, listen to this, listen to this. Buy it
no,
on iTunes, buy it on iTunes.
I was just curious. Yeah, it's not too bad.
I need to do a collaboration with Pounds or something. I bet Pounds has no idea that I make music. But I'm going to say to Pounds, oi, send me a beat. And he's just going to think, yeah, this guy can't do anything. I'm going to spit a sick verse for him. 16 bars. Maybe one day.
You'll have to do your own spin on the ACBA.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I love, like, Bug Nice probably has no idea who I am, right? But I watch all his videos, obviously, and I do rap his intro to myself. This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out here. I love it. I do love it. And I'm wild curious, wild tempted to make myself an intro rapping, and then do stop motion, like a Marvel Legends stop motion for the video. because I've
There
seen
you
a
go.
couple of WWE channels that have WWE stop motion for their intros, and they're really well done. So I thought to myself, if I could do a sick Marvel Legends stop motion and do like a little 30-second rap intro, that would be better than the little smiley face fuzz that I have at the minute. But but maybe one day, if I ever get the time, or a graphic designer wants to do it for me. But yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, that's Dan Hu, and that's the origins of Dan Hu and Rektangular. That's an exclusive for this live stream right now. Any more questions? We see. I'm having a look. People are basically just giving some of their favourites. They said Comic Mantis, Tigra, Moon Dragon.
Yes.
Re-release of X-Force Archangel, Quasar. I do think we will see Quasar sooner than later.
Yes to all of that.
Yeah.
I want Quasar, Mantis, classic Mantis. I want a classic, what the hell is her name? Moondragon, obviously. And that's the thing with this Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like, are we going to get to see the rest of the team? Because
Who else is in that Guardians team at the minute?
see, Quasar and Moondragon, I believe, and Nova, which we already have a really good Nova.
Is that Sam? Is that Sam? No, this young guy.
No,
Is it this guy or the other guy? There's two versions.
no,
Ain't there?
it's not a teenage Nova.
See, it's
So-
adult Nova. Okay, so two
Yeah.
different guys. Because the young one took the helmet from the old one, if I remember correctly. I do think we're going to get a Nova as well in the MCU eventually as well. They teased that if you watch Spider-Man Far From Home, on the plane, Peter Parker's skipping through some films, and it actually has Dr. Salvik's documentary on Nova is on the list. So they're teasing you. They're letting you know Nova's coming in the MCU.
Yeah, we have our Groot is on that team, but he has like spikes on top of his head.
Oh, okay. Is it?
We have Beta Ray Bill now because that's the costume he has in Guardians.
Oh, is that the version we've got in figure form? Is that comic accurate? Nice, yeah.
And Guardian is on that team as well. So we have Guardian. We need a different Gamora. They keep changing her costume. Star-Lord, we need a new Star-Lord for that costume.
Is Star-Lord still Peter Quill in the comics, or they changed it up?
Yeah, it's still Peter.
Has anyone ever took the mantle of Star-Lord? Because he seems quite Peter. Everyone else seems to share that. Like, there's tons of Spider-Men. We've had different Iron Men. Different people have been Captain America. Is Peter Quill always been Star-Lord? Or has anyone else took that name?
That's a very sore subject. That's Kitty Pryde.
Ah, yeah. That's why it's in my head. Because I knew someone did, and I couldn't think who it was. But didn't those two get together? Peter Quill and Kitty Pryde get together anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did read that. I was reading that. Yeah. I knew it was in my head for some reason. It was in my head there for some reason.
I don't think that lasted though.
Having a quick look at the comments. Someone said we need a new Lizard. I was in a proper mood because I missed it. We need an Age of Ultron Quicksilver. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't given us MCU Quicksilver, but he has only been in one film, and most of the other characters we've got in Legends form have been in at least two. Well, I'm sure there's a couple of exceptions, but yeah, he's only been in one film. Oh, actually, he was in the post-credits for Winter Soldier, was he? I think he was. Anyway, moving on. And Dan, are you a Risco fan? Don't know who Risco is. Richard Ryder Nova is the older one. Thank you very much. That's who I was talking about. The figure I want the most we'll never see is Jack of Hearts. Don't know who Jack of Hearts is. I'll have to Google him. Someone else earlier asked if we'd ever see White Rabbit in Marvel Legends form because she was part of the fan vote. She didn't actually win the fan vote. I can't remember who did, but she didn't win the fan vote. She come second or third. But Marvel are obviously aware of her. She's a unique character design, so I can see it happening eventually. Dan Articulated Heroines pointed out Comic and Cocktails still have a pre-order stock for Love Triangle 3-pack. I've pre-ordered one from Comic and Cocktails. Very trustworthy site. Definitely recommend going to them. If they've still got your pre-orders up, you can put in a 10% pre-order deposit, so it will cost you £1 for shipping. So it literally costs you about, I don't know, £5 to pre-order it. So why not go and do it? It's on Comic and Cocktails. Someone says an MCU abomination. He's on the raft locked up. We'll probably never see him again. And of course, we need a 90s Morph. And someone told me on my YouTube comments that Morph in the sort of... do you know he's wearing the flight jacket, like similar to Cyclops? That Morph is only in the animated series for one episode, and they killed him off in that one episode. Yeah. I actually thought he had more of a run in the comics, but clearly not.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Also Phyla-Vell is also in the new Guardians.
Don't know who that is. Another cosmic character, I assume.
Yeah.
I will go back and read a couple of these. I need to definitely read a Cosmic Ghost Rider because I'm curious why Frank Castle's in space. What are people saying? Could make a custom white rabbit from Typhoid Mary. Yeah, she's got the white corset, hasn't she? I'm sure that a bit of retooling that could be done. J Darko Customs just grabbed the pre-order. Well done. You're welcome. Dragon Man and Wizard would be cool with a Mole Man. Yeah, I can see Mole Man happening at some point. I actually have a Mole Man action figure, but it's the version from The Simpsons, my favourite TV show. If anyone wanted to know.
Hopefully, we'll get a new Dragon Man when we finally get a new Fantastic Four wave.
Yeah, as I said, Fantastic Four, Blade, X-Men, they will all start creeping into the MCU. I think Blade right now is in the Avengers in the comics. That's why a lot of people thought he was going to be in the MCU soon. So yeah, if we start seeing more highlight in the Fantastic Four, I think Dan Scott that's writing the Fantastic Four at the moment. He used to write Spider-Man. So they are giving Fantastic Four a bit of effort. And have you noticed in the comics now, Reed Richards actually looks like John Krasinski. Or Krasinski, the guy who directs Quiet Place. Apparently Reed Richards in the comics actually looks like him now, which is hinting massively that they might actually cast him for the MCU, which I think would be great casting. Emily Blunt as Susan Storm as well would be great. They're obviously married in real life as well, so that would be pretty good. I'd be happy with that.
It's a Krasinski.
Krasinski, there you go, yeah. As I told you, I pronounce so many names wrong, it's ridiculous. Blackheart, Mephisto, Fing Fang Foom, Bruce Lee with the comics with Jen Ross and Greyhawk 3-pack. That's an interesting one. What happens to the Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3? Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 is happening. James Gunn has said it's happening, but obviously he's directing Suicide Squad 2 first. So that probably won't be until Phase 5, but it's definitely happening. You just probably got to wait till 2022. My guess for 2022 would be Guardians 3, Captain Marvel 3, Captain Marvel 2, sorry, and Black Panther 2. That's what I would assume is 2022. But they didn't release the slate that far. The last one is scheduled for November 2021, and that is Thor: Love and Thunder. And to be fair, I love the name Love and Thunder, but what do you think about Natalie Portman coming back to the MCU?
Yeah, makes sense. I never understood why she was apprehensive to keep going. I guess she just wanted to do other things. I don't know.
She apparently was annoyed because a female director, I can't remember the name, but it was probably Patty Jenkins or someone like that, was meant to direct Thor 2, but they didn't. It got changed, and she was annoyed about it. So she reluctantly did Thor 2, and then because she wasn't signed on for anything else, she sort of faded away. But she still gets mentioned in Age of Ultron. She still gets mentioned in Ragnarok. She's mentioned in Avengers. So, and they've always, like, if they've ever showed pictures of her on the screen, it's always still been Natalie Portman. And she was in Endgame as well. They used outtakes from Dark World, but used a new voice over from Natalie Portman, which showed the relationship has been built, and it makes so much sense to keep the continuity and keep Natalie Portman as Thor. But I haven't read the female Thor storyline. Have you read that at all?
I started it. I never finished it, and it didn't do anything for me.
Apparently, people in my comments have been telling me on my other videos that it is a really good read. But I always thought it was one of those moves on Marvel where it was diversity for diversity's sake. Do you know, like, oh, Thor's never been a female, let's make him female. But apparently it is a good storyline, and Jane Foster Thor. But it's going to be I don't know how they're going to get Jane Foster to become Thor in the MCU, but we shall see. We shall see. Right, it's getting to about 10 to 1 in the morning in the UK. What time is it for you?
It's almost 5.
Okay, so it's mid-afternoon. It's getting dinner time. So Rectangular's got to go and have his dinner. I've got to go to bed. But it's been fun chatting, Rectangular. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the invite, man.
And thank you to everyone joining us. We consistently kept over about 50 people plus watching us, and I'm happy with that. Usually it's just me and 3 other people, so I appreciate that. So Rectangular, you obviously brought your fan base over, so I appreciate that. Make sure you go and follow Rectangular's YouTube channel. His link is on the page. You should be staring at right now. It's youtube.com/rectangular, but spelled a little bit differently. There is a link in the description of this video as well. Make sure you go and do that, and help me if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed. I don't know how that would be the case, but if you are watching and not subscribed, then hit that button. I'm trying to get to my 10k milestone so I can retire. I'm not really going to retire, but it would be nice to get to 10k. That was my aim when I started this channel, and if I can do that, I'll be very happy, and it will encourage me to continue. But I do like talking about Legends. Much appreciated. It's been a fun Comic-Con, some fun announcements. But Rectangular, we're gonna go. I'm gonna cut us off the stream, but we can keep chatting for 5 more minutes. So goodbye, everyone. Appreciate it. Go on, carry on.
Before I say goodbye, I wanted to just publicly thank Dan, because there are a lot of people on YouTube who watch my videos and use my information, but they don't give me credit. And Dan is the exception. Dan always mentions where the information came from, and gives me credit where credit is due. So
not a problem, my friend. Not a problem. I genuinely, as I said, been watching your videos way before I made a YouTube channel. So the fact, like, that I'm now talking to not just yourself but other YouTubers as well, that I feel a part of the community. It feels good. It feels good. So, as I said, it's just a fun. We're grown men buying toys, for God's sake. What's there to dislike? It's just a fun hobby. And I do love getting the news. I always get excited when a new Rectangular video goes up, and I'm like, what could the news be? But no, much appreciated. Thank you for joining me. Maybe we'll do this again soon. Maybe. Who knows? You let us know if you want to see more. Leave some comments in the video. If anyone re-watches the live stream, then let us know what you think. But until then, people, my name's been Dan W. His name has been Todd, aka Rectangular. And I guess we shall see you on the next one.